For the first few years, they were using the old gymnasium here during the cold seasons, going in and swinging their clubs into nets, and then they would take them, bust them out to other facilities to give them some of the practice with the golfing. We recently renovated that old gymnasium into a modern fitness center for our students, and it doesn't lend itself to swinging the clubs anymore. So, that was not a deal breaker for the partnership, but it was something that we wanted to continue to work to replace and figure out how we do that. Meanwhile, Midnight Golf has been expanding. They've started now a chapter in Florida. They've started, I think, a chapter in Illinois. Got a lot of interest from the U.S. Golf Association because of the nature of their success in moving students into college and centering that around the game of golf, and in particular reaching a population, inner city youth, who typically are not drawn to because of the inaccessibility of a game that continues to be largely centered around country clubs and so forth and in the outer reaches. So it was something that, with their growth and with our interest in continuing the leadership development work and a very successful partnership, we continued to talk about, well, how would we grow this? What does it need in terms of space, and how might that work, and how would it align with strategically where we're headed as an institution? So it was in that context that they came to us not that long ago. This project has moved very quickly. They came to us with an interesting proposal. They had been in conversation with, I believe it was folks from Golf Magazine, a subsidiary with Time Warner. Mm-hmm. And they had been approached about the possibility of their interest in helping Midnight Golf to develop a golf practice facility. And they said, well, yes, we'd be very interested. And they said, well, where would you think about would be appropriate for that? And they said, well, there's no other place but Marygrove College. That's where we are, and that's where we would like to stay. And but you need to talk to them. So, we started the conversation, and I'll be honest, at first it was like, okay, I get a lot of interesting ideas come across my desk.
Well, and I bet that was a tough one to take to the board. That had to be kind of an interesting conversation in itself.
Well, I got to tell you, I didn't take it to the board at first. I didn't take it really much of anywhere because I first needed to know whether there was any real there, right? Yeah. I mean, a lot of interesting ideas come up, but it's a very different thing from moving an idea to actually project stage. So we've got a very strong team here. I asked our Vice President for Administration, Vice President for Finance and Administration, Bill Johnson, and our Advancement Vice President, Ken Malachy, to meet with these folks and find out really kind of who's behind it. Is it there? We know Midnight Golf. We understand their strengths, but what is this really all about? And they came back, after doing this work and having some conversations, and they said, look, we got to tell you, this is a really exciting project. They brought together, and they got a commitment, and Golf Magazine really was great in this. And there's a gentleman also with a local organization around here, Dave Richardson, I forget the last name exactly, who was also instrumental in helping to bring some of the players together. But the key thing is that they got the interest of a gentleman named Tom Doak, D-O-A-K. And the name Tom Doak didn't mean anything to me because I'm not a golfer, nor a golf course architect. But let me tell you, folks in that world say this guy is something else. You're familiar? Yeah. So Tom Doak is, as you, with your nodding, apparently know more than me on this at the beginning, is a designer of golf courses and has designed some of the world's best golf courses. And he committed very quickly to this concept. He said, look, I'm doing work in that area. I've got some people on my design team that grew up 10 miles from there that would love to be part of this. Let's do it. And so this notion all of a sudden of a private independent college with a commitment to its community, partnering with a very strong youth development program in the inner city, and bringing together a world-class designer of golf facilities was already then enough for me to say, okay, so what would the plan look like? what do we mean by a golf practice facility? We ain't putting a golf course here, you know. That's not what this is, right? So what is it? Well, it's fascinating. It is a compact footprint of a facility that allows, as it's been described by the designers, it allows a player, a golfer, from novice level to professional, to practice every shot in the game with the exception of the long tee shot, because we don't have the space. It's all fitting within a. Actually, we've got a whole facility that's going to include the golf practice facility, and this is not one of these domes and tents and that whole thing. It's not going to be that. It's outdoors. It's minimalist. You're not going to see a major difference from the grounds and the open space that we have now. But it's going to be part of a facility that's also going to include our soccer field and ultimately down the road a track around that soccer field. So all of that is going to be on a 10-acre
Wow.